Buddy JC here with another T&I toy review, and for today's review we're going to take a look at the new DC Comics Multiverse 4-inch Batman Beyond figure from Mattel. Now this is another one of those figures where it features a character such as Batman Beyond, but it's not really the Batman Beyond character from the cartoon. It's based on the Arkham City video game and one of the downloadable skins. So it's basically Batman wearing a different costume, in this case Batman Beyond. So we've got the figure is packaged in the same style of packaging we've seen with all the Multiverse figures. You've got that orange and red kind of card back. Up at the top it tells us this is highly detailed and authentic for adult collectors. You've got the Batman Arkham City logo and the DC Comics Multiverse logo. The figure's clearly displayed on the card back, and then off to the side you have an image of the character from the video game and the name of the character down below. On the back of the packaging we again have the Arkham City logo, a look at the character from the video game, a brief bio from the Multiverse line, and then a brief bio for the character. And specifically for Bruce Wayne, because again this is supposed to be Bruce Wayne just wearing the Batman Beyond costume in the video game. And then a look at 3 other figures in the line. Now one thing to note here, you'll notice this blue translucent Bane figure with the skeleton. This figure has not yet been released, and actually I'm not sure if it's going to. We did see it at some of the toy shows like Toy Fair, and I think maybe it was at Comic-Con. Mattel basically said at Comic-Con last month that they're winding down their 4-inch line, and so that any figures that had not yet been released that we've seen at some of the toy shows, if they are released at some point, would likely be store exclusives. So I don't know if Bane is going to end up being released somewhere as a store exclusive or whether it'll just end up in limbo. But at this point, that figure I do not believe has yet been released. Okay, so let's get this open and take a look at what's inside. Okay, so here's a look at the figure outside of the packaging. So right off the bat, the 2 things that strike me the most about this figure are, first of all, it's missing the wings that you typically would see with Batman Beyond, the glider wings that he had. And I don't know if he actually sported those wings in the video game with the downloadable skin or not, so I can't say whether that's accurate or not. In the picture on the card back, he doesn't have the wings, so it may be they just didn't include that in the game. I'm not 100% sure, but definitely, basing it off of what he looked like in the cartoon, the Batman Beyond cartoon and everything, it's kind of disappointing we don't have those wings. And then the other thing is that, scale-wise, he's basically the same height as the other Batman figures, so I would think Terry McGinnis would be a little bit shorter, so not really quite in scale. But again, this really isn't supposed to be Terry McGinnis. It's supposed to be Bruce Wayne, aka Batman, just wearing the Batman Beyond suit with a downloadable skin from the video game. So kind of like, same thing with the Adam West figure that we looked at the other day. Even though the build of the figure really doesn't look like Adam West, I can't really blame Mattel, since technically it's not supposed to be Adam West. Technically this isn't supposed to be Terry McGinnis. It's supposed to be from the video game. So paint applications on this figure are pretty simple. Majority of the figure is all just solid black. You've got the red bat symbol on his chest. His belt has got some silver metallic paint and a little red dot in the middle of the belt buckle. He's got white eyes. You can see his nose and mouth are sculpted on the mask, and his ears on the costume are pretty long. And then he does have the little things that stick out off of his gloves. So overall, I would say the figure looks pretty good and looks pretty true from the few images I looked at online for this downloadable skin from the video game. Again, it's a little disappointing that they couldn't give us the wings as seen in the cartoon and stuff, but as far as basing it off of the video game downloadable skin, I think this figure is a good representation of the character. So the figure stands, if you count to the tip of his ears, about 4 1/4 inches tall. Articulation, no surprises here, pretty much on par with everything else we've seen in this line. Head is on a ball joint so he can look left and right. He has no real up or down movement with the head. Arms are attached with your standard ball hinge joint at the shoulder, so he can get his arms all the way out. And he's got good rotation at the shoulder. He has no bicep swivel, no swivel at the elbow, single hinged elbow so he can bend his elbow about that much, and then swivel wrists, but no hinges on the wrists. No midsection ab crunch of any type, but he does have a waist swivel. Legs are attached with those T-crotch with the hinges on the side, so he can do the splits good. He can get his leg forward pretty good, and he can do his leg back good. No biceps, or I'm sorry, the thigh swivel is right above the knee. He has a single hinged knee, no swivel at the boot cuff, no ankle articulation at all, and then 2 peg holes on the bottom of his feet. Okay, so that's my review. Overall, I would say, kind of the same thing I said with the Adam West Batman figure from this line. If you're a huge fan of the character, it's probably worth you trying to track it down and add it to your collection. If not, then it may be one that you want to pass on. It's not a 100% representation of the Batman Beyond characters we saw in the cartoon and such. It doesn't have the wings, unfortunately. But again, it's not really supposed to be, and it does look pretty true to how it seemed to appear in the video game, so I can't really fault it for that. Now this figure is out now. I have not seen it in physical stores. I had to order mine off of Amazon.com, but the figure is out. As I mentioned before, the line is kind of winding down, so I don't know how many of these later release figures retailers are going to actually carry, so it may be harder to find than some of the others. But again, if you look online, you can probably find it. We'll have a full gallery of images of this figure over at toynewseye.com. There's a link in the description below. And as always, leave a comment. Let us know what you think. If you're so inclined, please like the video. And if you haven't already, please subscribe. And until next time, I'll catch you later.